Okay, the recording should be started. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so our return to campus, just a little bit of an update. Students that had signed up for in-person learning have returned to campus 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. And then all students, all Meadowbrook students, participate on Fridays in asynchronous learning. Students that are riding the bus in the mornings, we now have supervision for them. What happened is our schedule has changed from the traditional schedule, so our buses are coming early. So they're dropping students off at like 7 in the morning. And that's because there's bus routes where they're picking up for other schools and so on and so forth. So what we've done is we're working with ACES, and we're able to accommodate those students who are on the bus so that they have, they're provided a hot breakfast if they want one, as well as supervision and a nice warm area where there's things to entertain them and to take care of them, activities, or they can even work on schoolwork. So we now have that available to our students who are riding the bus in the AM, and there's no fee or cost for that. You just need to sign up with Mr. Tu, who's our ACES supervisor. And so he provides that information to the families, though, for students on the bus. We've also expanded our supervision for our students to make sure we have coverage for safety during our breaks and our lunches. We've increased our supervisors. So we have what we call instructional assistants. And so we've increased the number of instructional assistants. And so they're helping us to provide that extra supervision in conjunction with our noon duties, our campus security, as well as administrators and counselors. We've also expanded our lunch area. So now we've set up tables, round tables that are in 2 of our hallways, the 300 building hallway, as well as the 400 building hallway, so that there is more covered area for students to be able to eat lunch. And then we also, of course, are providing supervision in those areas. A challenge that we've had is helping the students to understand to spread out. So I can say that is probably one of the bigger challenges. The space is there, but sometimes they like to congregate close to each other. And so constant reminders, and it's not that they're doing it in defiance. It's just that's the way they're used to doing things, and they want to see their friends. And so constant reminders and things like that. But you can see here some students on the right there holding up some In-N-Out burger certificates. So what we're doing is trying to do positive reinforcement. So for those students who are displaying nice social distancing, we're trying to reward them. So that's what that is. And then of course, when they have the masks off, we limit the amount of students that are allowed to sit at a table to ensure some distancing. Registration. Registration for next year is currently taking place through April 30th. And Poway Unified School District is offering different learning options. And I just briefly wanted to go over this because I know there's still lots of questions around the Connect Academy, which is the virtual school. So I just want to clarify the difference between Meadowbrook and Connect Academy. So next year, Meadowbrook will be going back to full day in-person learning. So it should look like it did pre-pandemic. So barring that there's any major changes with our situation with COVID, California has announced that they're going to fully reopen June 15th. So with that information, our in-person learning should look like it looked as far as hours and schedule as it did pre-COVID. Connect Academy is a virtual learning option for students. And the Connect Academy is actually a virtual school. So students would be enrolled in the virtual school, not Meadowbrook. So given that, the electives that are being offered will be through Connect Academy, through the virtual learning. So the electives may be different than Meadowbrook electives that are offered at Meadowbrook. And I'm not sure exactly what those electives will be yet. And I know that there were some questions around the Spanish program, our intensive Spanish program. So I do not know if they will have an intensive Spanish program at Connect Academy. I have not heard that they will. And so as far as if you have a student that's in that program and you want to look into the virtual school, I don't know that that option will be available. And so I just want to put that out there. Also, the dual immersion program that some students are currently participating in, that probably will not be offered through Connect Academy, where they take some of their courses, where we have the course for social studies where that's offered in Spanish. I do believe that they are going to be working with our CTE, which is the technical education, career and technical education, to offer some STEM. Sorry, I got muted. To offer, I don't, how long was I muted? Not long?
No, you're fine.
Okay. So to offer, I'm sorry, technology-based electives as well. So that's all the information I kind of have right now on Connect Academy. And then Meadowbrook, of course, like as I said, will go back to what we looked like pre-pandemic. There's also options for the Poway Home Education Program and New Directions Independent Study. And there's more information on the Poway Unified School District website for those learning options. But again, Meadowbrook will not be offering a virtual option specific to Meadowbrook. 8th grade promotion. We're going to move forward with an in-person promotion on June 18th. And yeah, so
yay.
Yay!
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's gonna look different than what it has in the past because of our, space constraints. So it's going to be limited 2 people per student, and we'll figure out a way to do probably, give them, give students tickets to give to family members just to be able to manage that. But we will do that celebration in person in the quad. We're going to have mandatory mask wearing. Sorry. We're going to have mandatory mask wearing. And then as far as the social distancing, we'll have the two people from the same household, and then we'll distance. I'm not sure what the rules will be. It'll either be 6 feet or 3 feet, since we will be outdoors and with wearing PPE. So that'll be dependent on guidelines that come to us from CDPH. As far as performances, as far as like music and stuff like that, it will probably be a sound system instead of band performance. Again, just because of the the conditions that we have. But we will make it fun, and we will make it festive, and we will make sure that it's joyful, and we are looking forward to doing that.
Thank you, Ms. Brownlee. This is Shalom. Thank you so much. I'm so happy about the news. And then please let me know if there's anything we can do. I know there's a lot of parents that are willing to volunteer to, make sure this happens in the safest way possible that everyone can enjoy it.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. We're gonna have to figure out a way to make sure that when it's over, that people leave, and then we're gonna have to figure out the reunification and what that's gonna look like for students with families. I think that's gonna be probably our biggest challenge, because I know in years past, families like to take pictures on stage and hang out and talk to each other. So just figuring out a uniform way for people to be able to exit. But you know what? We can figure it out. We'll figure it out. And then the other thing is space availability. So there's a possibility that we might have to do two 1-hour promotions. So meaning we would need to split them maybe in the cohort A and B, and then whoever's virtual split them too, just so that we have enough space in the quad. So that's based off of distancing requirements.
Can I ask, I'm assuming these will be during the day?
Yes, so it'll be in the morning. So we'll start at 8:30. So we'll have it 8:30 to 9:30, and then we would need to disinfect. So we would have a 9:30 to 10:30 that we would need to clean, and then our second wave would either be 10:30 to 11:30 or 11 to 12.
And would this be on June 18th?
It's going to be June 18th, though. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. And then also I need to check with elementary schools. I think they usually do theirs on Thursday, and high schools usually do the afternoon. But I think I need to communicate with the high schools just to make sure that we're not overlapping for our feeder schools, because we want families to be able to attend all three.
Yeah, I know Mount Carmel's is that night. Or that afternoon.
Mount Carmel is in the evening. They're in person, and I think they're going to do a drive-by for the virtual ones. And I think that will be right before or during the day.
Okay. Perfect. And then I'll check on Poway and Bernardo Heights as well.
That may be a good suggestion for us too. If Mount Carmel's doing a drive-by for virtuals, maybe we could do a drive-by for virtuals also, to cut down on numbers, to maybe accommodate cohorts A and B at the same time if there's enough virtual students.
Yeah, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick either or, because I had given thought to trying to do both, but I just don't think it's feasible for us to be able to do both. And so I think we need to choose what we want. And I was hearing from the community that what they really want is an in-person. So we're gonna go ahead and offer that. But I don't know time-wise how we would be able to do both a drive through promotion and an in-person. We are also looking at the asynchronous Friday prior to the promotion, to having either a breakfast or a lunch for our 8th grade students, where we'll have them come on campus and be able to do a yearbook signing, hopefully if we have our yearbooks, and hang out with their 8th grade teachers. So we'll be talking about that as a staff, just so that because usually we have the dance, right? And the party, the 8th grade parties. So since we can't have that, we're going to see if we can do something nice like that for them.
Crystal,
Yes.
this is Karina. I'm just curious. Do you guys know where you're at in terms of the kids that are waitlisted to get back into school?
Yes. And I'm sorry, I missed that I was supposed to talk about that before I got to Q&A, so I apologize. So I could give you an update on that. We have actually gone through the wait list. There were approximately 60 students on the wait list that want to switch over from virtual to in-person. And so our counseling team and assistant principals have filtered through that. The constraints that we have are if one of the students' teachers has a full classroom. So for instance, if I'm teaching science period 3 and I've got 25 students in my class and I'm at max capacity, then Miss Solons wants to come back. I can't bring her back because there's not physical room in the classroom. So we're going through that, and then this week, and then next week, we're going to reach out to families who had signed up for in-person but have not returned to campus. And then we will clean that up. So essentially moving in-person students to virtual if they're not going to show up. So that will take place next week. So we're slated for May 3rd to allow students to come back in person based off of space availability. So it's not necessarily where you are on the wait list, it's more so space availability. We check that space availability in order of the request to come back, though. Did that make sense, Karina?
Yes, it does. Thanks. But so let's just say you guys go through the list, and then will you continue to allow students come back as as there's availability, or is there a cutoff line? Because May 3rd, you only have like a month and a half of school left.
So I'm not planning on having a cutoff.
You're muted. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep getting muted. So we're not planning on cutting off the date, like having a cutoff date for when people can request to go from virtual to in-person.
Okay.
If families decide the last week they want to come back, if we have space, we'll bring them.
Okay, so we'll find out from you. I guess
week.
you'll update us week to week basis, I guess.
Yeah, so next week we will for those 60 requests, we will communicate whether or not we're able to bring you back on May 3rd.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we're excited to have you. Oh, good question. Any other questions?
Ms. Brownlee, this is Shalom again. Sorry.
Hey,
Since the promotion is limited to the 2 attendees, which is absolutely fine, will you guys be able to live stream it at least for other family members so they can at least watch it online? I can help with.
Let me talk to Mr. Ismay about that.
Okay.
Because I don't know if we can live stream it, but if we can't live stream, then I'm thinking we can at least record it and
Yeah,
then just upload it to YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I think live streaming is not a problem. We've been doing it with the sports and high school sports. Like I've been helping out at high school sports, so I know it's definitely doable. And I think it'll be a nice, so at least the grandparents and all that can.
Yeah. I know when I was at Oceanside High School, we would live stream. We live stream it, and we had a lot of families that were overseas because we're in a the
Military.
Marine base was
Yeah.
there. We had a
Yeah.
lot of military families. But let me speak with. I like the idea. Let me speak with Mr. Ismay. Just because that's his specialty, and see if I can get somebody to do it for us.
Okay, well, let me know. I'm willing to, or I will definitely help with that.
Okay.
If
Okay.
you need it.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I can meet with maybe a small committee of parents in regards to the promotion to get feedback and input. So I'll make sure I reach out to you, Shalom, for that.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. And Mrs. And Karina too. I know you. Yeah. Okay. And Carrie. Okay. So that'll be great. But we're really looking forward to it. Oh, also, I left out, we will be doing a virtual awards night. Mrs. Garza, would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Sure, we're pretty excited because obviously this will be the first time we're doing it virtual. So we're kind of looking at the district in general and seeing what some of the high schools were doing and kind of going from there. So it'll be virtual, it'll be exciting, it'll be new. And so we'll push out some more information as soon as we're ready to get that going.
Yeah, so we missed it last year, so we'll be able to do that this year. And so our team's been doing some work on that, and so we're excited to celebrate our students. Any other questions or input or ideas?
Yes. I have a question. My son's in the 6th grade in academy. He's in person now 4 days a week, which is fabulous. Thank you. And he still has a couple of teachers that are teaching remotely, and I was wondering, is there a point that those teachers must return to school? Because I've seen some things online that by a certain date in May, all the remote teachers had to be in person. So I was just curious about that.
Yeah, so more teachers will be returning. I can't say that all teachers will be returning because that's kind of an HR a human resource thing, because if there could be staff members that are unable to return under doctor's orders or things of that nature. So I can't say that all teachers are going to return, but I can give you this update. Most of our teachers have been vaccinated if they want to be vaccinated. And so if that was maybe a requirement before they were able to return to campus, then those individuals will be back.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All good questions or input or ideas?
Hi, I have a question. My son's in 6th grade, and I was wondering, is there any plans to do orientation for incoming 5th grade and virtual 6th grade children?
Yes, and I'm going to let Mrs. Knock talk and Mrs. Garza speak to that.
Thank you.
So we're, gosh, I would think it was, you know what, I'm not going to try to go with the date, but we did do, our Mustang leaders did host tours on campus prior to us returning to school, and that really went well. The kids were super excited. And what we're planning for our current fifth graders coming into sixth is our Mustang leaders have created a virtual tour, and they're highlighted speaking throughout the video. We're planning to send that video to all of our elementary feeder schools, and the fifth grade teachers will show that video to their classes, and we're going to schedule a Zoom meeting with their class and the counselors and Mustang leaders and host a Q&A for the fifth graders.
So my question was actually specifically for the sixth graders who are still virtual, because they have not had any orientation. They were omitted from the in-person virtual tour, and it sounds like they won't be included in the fifth grade virtual either. So is there any way we can, because I think there's about 40% of the sixth graders who have still never really been on campus, and I was wondering if we could include them in the orientation, either with the virtual fifth grade or an in-person one.
Well, what we could do, I mean, just easily do is coordinate, you know, a meeting time. We would do essentially what we're doing for the fifth graders. We would share, you know, we would view the video together and then host a Q&A with our Mustang leaders and the counselors.
Yeah, that would be great. I think if we could include the virtual sixth graders, that would be amazing for them, because they still haven't experienced the on-campus orientation at all yet.
Right, right. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you.
That's a good idea. And I'm wondering if we can even do it, like do an expanded advisory time for them or something. I don't know. We'll figure that piece out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Good feedback. And any other yes, Carrie.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So Crystal, Bruce and I were just going to say something quick about the MEF and the PTSA.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank
Reminder. So good morning, everyone. My name is Carrie Frangian. I'm the current Educational Foundation president. And I know a lot of you guys, first of all, wondering about the promotion signs for 8th grade. Since we've had a huge inquiry about them, and with the consideration of our spring break and the sign company being on vacation, our signs are supposed to be picked up next Friday, April 30th. So look for communication towards the beginning of next week for pickup from school and delivery. But right now we project to start deliveries hopefully next Friday afternoon and next weekend. So we appreciate your patience. And I know a lot of parents were getting nervous because they saw different schools with the signs up, but next weekend we still have plenty of time to show our pride for our promotion for our 8th graders. And just wanted to let you guys know too, we do have a few positions open in the foundation. We're looking for a secretary and also an auditor. We're really a fun group. Can everyone wave right now who's currently on the foundation, just to put a face and say, just wave and say hi, not to put anybody on the spot. And so we're a very fun group. We meet the first Wednesday of every month at 7 a.m. You can contact me anytime if you even want to sit in. You can contact me at mbmsfoundation@gmail.com. And just want to let you guys know that our mission of the foundation is to provide funding and resources and support and opportunities for school activities and programs, and that expand and enrich the educational experiences for all of our students. And we're comprised of parents and educators and members of the community. And we can't do anything without the support of faculty and the parents. So thank you. And then I'd like to introduce Bruce Bergman, who is our amazing PTA president. So Bruce.
Thanks, Carrie, and thanks, Principal Brownlee. Appreciate the staff working so hard to get our kids back in school and having a great time at it. Similar to the foundation, the PTSA is really here to support the kids in the school. We provide some additional funding for programs that need it or special events. And, this year's been kind of tough. Our membership is probably half of what it was the previous year. So I'm hoping that everyone will have a chance to join us. You can join right now if you want and help out for the rest of the year, or you can join in the fall. We're certainly going to be ramping up activities, of course, in the fall. And I think we're looking forward to a good parent and family and friend support for all the things that we're trying to accomplish for the school. So you'll find a link on the Meadowbrook webpage, or you can send an email to myself. And my email is bruceb@fatcity.com, and I can get you connected. But there's lots of ways to join. It's all electronic now, so it's super easy, and we're hoping you'll join us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you also, Carrie and Bruce, for all that you and your teams and families have done for the school. So really appreciate it. The community helps make Meadowbrook such a fantastic place. So couldn't do it without you. So thank you. Any other questions or input or wonderings?
I have a silly question, and I remember in elementary school it's a little different. That last week of school, I realized like officially the last day of school is Friday, June 18th. But do they actually, is that like an asynchronous day where they're doing work from home, or does like the academic part of school actually end a few days earlier? Because I know sometimes that week that the last day of school was really just for the graduating class, and they ended 2 or 3 days before that. So I just wanted to try and understand.
Sure. It's a good question. This year's a little different. Traditionally, what would happen is we would have minimum days in the last days of school, and actually, school would be in session during promotion. So siblings would be in class during that time. This year, since we have a modified schedule, we will not have minimum days. We will have our regular bell schedule that we have right now. But what you'll notice is that Friday will be an asynchronous day. I believe that students will still need to log into their class to do whatever last assignment there may be. What that assignment looks like, that'll be up to the teacher. But we will be holding promotion on that asynchronous Friday. And then other students, again, they'll log in to independent work for that day, and then they'll be done. And the reason why is because we have to have a certain number of instructional minutes for each year. And based off of that is how, and attendance is how the school receives funding from the state for our students. So it does have to be an actual school day for that last Friday. And that's why not a minimum day, because we have to meet our instructional minutes.
Great, thank you. And I actually thought of one more quick thing. My son is in 6th grade, and he's gotten used to this schedule, where he has 4 classes a day, in the academy, or 3 depending on the day. He can't imagine going to 7 classes a day every day. And I was just curious, what is the plan for next school year? Are you going back to the way the schedule used to be, or are you keeping it this kind of split schedule?
The schedule is going to have to change, but what you're referring to is the block scheduling. And so I'll be honest with you, I need to start that conversation with our staff to see what we're going to do. But as of right now, we would be going back to the schedule that we had pre-pandemic, which is the periods 1 through 7, and then period 8 for academy. So, but I do need to talk with with our staff, because this year we also added in our advisory, and I really think it's important to have that connection time with our students. So it's a conversation that I need to have with our staff. I know that's
No,
not
that
the
makes total
answer,
sense.
but-
I understand it's probably, yeah, I understand it's more most likely a staff issue. I'm curious though, since you have obviously a whole year's worth of students now that have had it one way and then the other way, it might be interesting to survey the students to see if they had a preference. I'm just curious. I know my son's kind of panicking about the idea of the non-block schedule, but it would be interesting I'm wondering if the students, how the students feel. So thank you for the answer.
Yeah, that's a good idea to collect student voice. So I appreciate that. Yeah. Mrs. Solons, do you want to talk briefly about state testing?
Sure. So communication will be going home to families hopefully next week, but just to give you some updates, this year we will not be giving the Smarter Balanced Assessment, or known as CASP. This is a district decision that we applied for a waiver with the state, and the state has determined that our iReady assessment, which our students have already taken twice, that qualifies as a assessment of student progress towards meeting state standards. So we will be giving the iReady assessment one more time this year in English Language Arts and in math. The testing window opens the 17th of May, and we're currently working with our department leaders to determine a testing schedule. For students who are on campus, they'll be able to take it on campus, and then students who are virtual, it will be similar to where they took it the first 2 times this year, where they'll be proctored by their teacher over Zoom, and they'll be taking the test that way. So this does apply district-wide. So if you have kiddos in elementary and they typically would take the CASP, they also will not be taking it. They'll be taking iReady, and then as well as students in high school who would be taking the science assessment, that has been waived as well. So just the only state assessment that we are still giving is the LPAC, and we're almost finishing up with that in the next couple of weeks. And those are for students who are identified as English language learners. So it's kind of a
Kristen, or Ms. Solons, I don't know that they have figured out what we're going to do as an alternative yet, though, for science, right?
I think we did get communication yesterday or the day before that the
Oh, it
CASP
just came.
also-
Okay.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Perfect. Any other questions?
I do have a question.
Sure.
Thank you, everybody, for everything, by the way. It's going great. But just pure curiosity question. What happened to the temperature checks by the entrance to the school? It happened, they were like going on just for a week and then they were discontinued. I'm just curious why.
Yeah, that's a good question. In January, there were updated CDPH guidelines, and in the updated guidelines, temperature checks were no longer required. So actually, we were probably one of the last campuses to do away with the temperature checks. Actually, I had just bought a bunch of thermometers, for the touchless temperature checks. But so as a district, there's, we discontinued the temperature checks, but still encouraging at-home temperature checks.
Yes, that was my understanding, right? That you're supposed to do it yourself at home, do the
Yes.
self-temperature check and sickness check and all that before you send your kids to school. So
Correct.
yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. My only comparison is with Design 39 because I have another child there and I know that they still do that there. So that's why I have 2 kids in 2 places and it's different. That's why I was just
Gotcha.
Thank
So
you.
maybe Design 39 is decided to continue.
Yeah, they do everything their own way. Yeah.
Okay. I know the elementary schools, I think they did away with them first because and then I also know, not that this has anything to do with our school, but my own children in Carlsbad, they go to Carlsbad Unified. and they had stopped doing temperature checks. I don't know if they ever did in January. And so, but as a parent, I'm like, what? What do you mean they're not doing temperature checks? At first, I was nervous about it, but then but I didn't see a jump in cases. So
I can say that because I've been out there a lot, and I will say that families have been doing a fantastic job of screening students. I can't even think of a time since we reopened where we've actually had a student that has had a temperature who we've had to send home. So what families are doing is really helping out at home. And so I think that that's, so thank you for that, I guess is what I want to say.
Yes, agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What about the plexiglass? I know at least one of the high schools has gotten rid of the plexiglasses in the classroom.
Yeah, so we have available student shields, individual desk shields for students. They're available, but they're not required. So a lot of the classrooms are still utilizing them. And then those that are not, they're still there and available for students to utilize if they would like to. But
So the student can take theirs down if they don't want to use it?
Based off of teacher preference. So if the teacher says they can, but if the teacher has them in place and wants them used, then they need to use it. If they're not using them and a student wants to use one, then they can utilize one. So it's the other way around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Principal Brownlee?
Yes.
Do you know when what the bell schedule will be like next school year, when school will start and end?
Well, it's going to need to start at 7, back to our 7:40, and we'll end at our 2:25. So that piece will not change, the start and end time.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think the following year, though, it will need to change because middle school cannot begin before 8 a.m. So what it will change to, I don't know, but that'll be in the 2022-23 school year. Any other questions?
Just a comment. It's too bad that late start change can't happen next year. It has been a blessing to have the later start.
Yeah, I understand. I think there's a cost associated with it for when we switch over, and they're still trying to figure out also sports for or not even just sports, but after school activities at the high school level, so that they're not, practicing and there's no light. So, but and then the cost associated with it is the busing piece, which I don't know as much about doing those schedules, but yeah, I have enjoyed it as well. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming today, and if you have any other questions or comments, my door is always open, so you're more than welcome to reach out to any of us, and we would be more than willing and happy to work with you. And I really appreciate your partnership, especially through these times, because the families have been amazing with us. And I feel so blessed to be at Meadowbrook. Our kids are amazing, our staff are amazing, and our parents are just so helpful and understanding. And you have allowed me grace and allowed me to make mistakes, but then we're helpful in finding solutions. So I just want tell you thank you. I really do appreciate our partnership here at Meadowbrook with our families.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have
Thank
a wonderful
you.
day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget about PTSA and Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Good to see you all.